Welcome to Speaking the Truth
Sports with
in
your
Sports with
co-host
your
Jermaine
co-host
Jones
Jermaine
and
Jones
Sean
and
Vogler.
Sean Vogler.
Welcome, Sean.
Welcome, Sean.
It's been a little
It's been a
while.
little
I have to
while.
tell
I
people
have to
what
tell people
has
what
happened over the
has
last
happened
couple
over the
weeks
last
and why
couple
we didn't
weeks
have
and
a
why we
show.
didn't have
But
a show.
how you
But
been?
how you been?
I've been good. Just been keeping busy. There's been a lot that's gone on the past couple weeks, though. So we'll get into a lot today.
We're gonna get in a lot
We're
today.
getting a lot
There's
today, and there's a
stuff
lot of stuff that we
to
have
set out.
to set out. Shout out to the subscribers we have. We have 10 subscribers. We've hit double digits. Before our next show, I would like to see 15 subscribers. Show spreading around so far, and
there's actually been
a couple topics from a couple fans
we wanted to talk about
today.
So those are key things. To give everyone an update on what's going on. Like I mentioned,
the day of our first show,
I had a death that I dealt with, a close family friend. Sean and I were unable to get together when I went back to my hometown. We tried many different avenues, many different ways for the schedule around the funeral. All happened so quickly. The day after the show, I pretty much had to change the entire schedule of what I had planned. So that's kind of what happened. Obviously, we're going to do this every week.
There's going to be pop-up shows
that I've been thinking about, but I really needed that time to focus on that. I really wanted to do other stuff, but just wasn't able to. We're back better than ever. I'm gonna use a whole bunch of quotes from a whole bunch of different shows. Mike Greenberg was the back better than ever. Quote Jalen Rose. Quote, we don't force topics. We're not talking about stuff that don't matter. We're only talking about stuff that matters right now. It matters in the context, and that includes like free agency, in season stuff. We're not going to sit up here and talk about theories. We're going to talk about actual stuff that's happening. What are your thoughts, Sean? Before we move forward to the show,
I'm just looking forward. Second episode. Big things.
All right, let's go. We had a breaking
news story
that we had
scheduled this morning.
Put together the schedule this morning. And guess what happened today? That took the number one spot.
Sean, tell everyone what happened today.
So today, Jim Harbaugh has left as the coach of Michigan Wolverines to take the head coaching job with the Los Angeles Chargers.
The Chargers. And who plays
quarterback for the Chargers?
Justin Herbert.
Last time I checked,
he was damn good.
Weren't they in the playoffs
last year? The last time he played a full healthy season?
Oh, yeah. Well, he wasn't healthy that year, but that guy is gritty and tough and played through injury. But yes, they made the playoffs.
Oh, he healthy enough to play.
Yes, that's for sure.
So it was excellent being able to see John. I was about to say John. Jim Harbaugh go to the Los Angeles Chargers. He'll actually play his brother next year in the regular season. So that's gonna be pretty cool to see. Sean. What are your thoughts on Harbaugh getting out of the Big Ten? This was a move up or a move away from possibly getting? What are your thoughts on that?
Probably a little bit of both. I mean, if you look at it, he did what he came back to accomplish. He came back to his alma mater. He led them back to the elite of college football, and just won the national championship. So, with that being said, he's probably going to be suspended for the sign stealing scandal going on. There's probably going to be some. NCAA is not done with them, but I always knew he had unfinished business in the NFL. Like when you take your team to a Super Bowl and you come that close to winning one, like he was going to come back. And Chargers is a great situation. He's got one of the top five or six quarterbacks in the league. So it's a good spot with some good talent on both sides of the ball. They just needed the right coach.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that it's really hard to pretty much like take all of this
into consideration when
there's a lot going on. In college football, there's a lot going on in the NFL. You're trying to like basically lead a team,
and there's some stuff that you're speculated to be involved in, some stuff you're not,
speculated
to be involved in. So we have to kind of see how that rolls.
So we're gonna move on
to our next topic.
And this is a topic
we wanted to talk about. First thing, once we found out about it, and it's been a couple old,
still new in
our hearts.
We got a couple legends
that moved on.
Their head
coaching jobs.
This past current off season. First person's Nick Saban.
Second person's
Bill Belichick.
Sean, what are your thoughts?
Don't forget about Pete Carroll. Pete
Carroll as well.
I guess it wasn't surprising. I mean, Saban, what can you say? That guy can go out on his own terms. When you win 6 championships in 12 years, like Alabama was the closest thing to a dynasty that you've seen in college football in a while.
Right.
And Nick Saban's one of the top ones ever. Like you look at NFL rosters and they're littered with Alabama players. Like you probably there's probably Alabama players on every roster in the NFL.
Of course.
And that's a testament to him. Bill Belichick too as well. He won 6 championships. But you kind of saw the past few years like the writing was going to be on the wall because Tom Brady is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and he covered up a lot of stuff. So, they didn't have Tom Brady. They didn't have a quarterback. So, they parted amicably, and he may be coaching again before too long. And let's not forget about Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll, of course, when we were growing up in the 2000s, USC, with with couple championships and several NFL players, and then going to 2 Super Bowls and winning 1 in the NFL with the Seahawks. So another legend that is parted ways. And
hey, Reggie Bush
need to get that Heisman back.
That's
no ifs, he needs to get that
Heisman
back.
Period. And
Pete Carroll should have won 2 Super Bowls.
But get on the 1 yard line, and you got the best running back in football, and you don't hand it to him, and you're like, we're gonna try to throw a quick pass, and it was intercepted, and it wasn't good, and there wasn't.
Obviously, there was one more opportunity with that team, but
they didn't.
They got blown out. Embarrassed in that Super Bowl return. But
what were you gonna say?
Sean?
Well, and if you wanted to, you had Russell Wilson who has legs. You walks it the end zone. He just pulls it and then keeps it.
Yeah, repeat that last
10 seconds because you cut out for a second.
You could talk about the Russell Wilson. He has legs. He's athletic. He just pulls and he keeps it and walks in the end zone.
Right.
So
that's the key.
That's the key thing.
He's got legs. So we're gonna fly through these topics. We're not gonna spend too much time on any topic today because we got packed show. The next thing that comes up, Sean said it was mandatory that we talk about it. But before we talk about this topic within the NBA, I want to address a couple of things within the NBA before we talk about the trade that happened last week. One of the biggest things I want to talk about is the U.S. Olympic team. Not a forced topic because it came out today. I remember when Draymond Green and others, we about to be on this. Some of those players were not invited to the top 41 list. There were some players on there I was surprised at. It's going to be very interesting that unless you're a first ballot Hall of Famer, you're probably not going to be on this USA team because USA has a lot to prove to win the Olympics. What are your thoughts on that, Sean?
I mean, it wasn't surprising. I mean, you saw the roster that they sent to the World Championships, and people are like, "Oh, has the U.S. lost a step?" And don't get me wrong, around the world, like there's more and more international players in the NBA, and that's a testament to growing the game around the world. But they pretty much sent their B or C team. Like there was a bunch of NBA role players. Pretty much the main two, there was a few guys, but the main guys that were doing well is like an Anthony Edwards from Minnesota, Jaren Jackson from Memphis. Clearly Tyrese Halliburton, who, has been in the MVP discussion, is probably first or second team All NBA, but like you saw a bunch of young guys and you're like, this isn't the country's best. So you knew, especially when the Olympics coming out, like they were going to send their best to send a message.
That is correct.
And
you said it all. I'm not going to add anything to that. Second thing I want to talk about is something that irritates me in the NBA. Irritates me in the NBA so much. I gotta talk about it, and I got love for this man. Karl Anthony Towns, 2 for 10 in the fourth quarter. You might think that he was like 4 for 19 in the game. When he shot 2 of 10 in the quarter. I don't know. I mean, people said that he was chasing 70, this and that. We're here to speak. I don't know what he was doing, but when you're so hot in a game, and you have 44 at the half, and I believe you had 56. No, sorry. You had 58 after 3, and you only end up with 62, and you lose to the Hornets, and you lose a big lead. Those are the facts I want to get into, and one of the biggest things I'm disappointed in the NBA is that why are teams losing such big leads? Like it's the game of runs. Teams be up 15, 20, 25 points. Minnesota's up 14 in the fourth. Like what's going on with all of these like blown leads, Sean?
I mean, you've seen it this season. Like offense is at they're going to set records this year for offensive statistics, but the 3-point shot has always been the equalizer. So if you have like a really good facilitator that can push the tempo and find open shooters, that's going to be the equalizer. And of course, I mean, Golden State has popularized that for years. But you look at most teams in the league, like if you don't have shooting, you ain't winning many games.
Right.
And that's at all positions, not just your guards and your wings. Like, to your point about Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns is probably the best shooting big man out there as far as a center is concerned.
Right. I used him as an example because it was important to continue to know that a lot of players are putting up nice stats at the beginning of the game, and those stats are kind of wearing out. Players like Isaiah Thomas, I call him Isaiah Thomas Jr., but the Isaiah Thomas of the new age, and Kobe Bryant, and Dwayne Wade, all these other types of players, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook. All these players would save their best for the fourth quarter. They would average 8, 9, 10 points. There's countless amount of players. Michael Jordan. The list goes on and on. So for you to score 44 in the first half, he's going to score 80. He scored 62. Which means he didn't even score 20 in the second half, and it's just like, well, I really want these players playing their best game. And yeah, you can say he ran out of gas. You can say he was that. I'm not gonna really get into that. It's just sad to see because they had to control that game and they lost that game. Third NBA topic I want to talk about. Like I said, there's a lot to talk about in the NBA. NBA trade season is here. But tell us, Sean, educate us on what has happened in the NBA last week with the team from Canada.
So Pascal Siakam was traded from the Toronto Raptors to the Indiana Pacers for 3 first-round picks, Bruce Brown and Jordan Nwora.
Which those 3 first-round picks really is one. 2 of them ain't pan.
Continue.
Right, which in this year's class, which is regarded as a weak draft class, those are 2 picks in the 20s. But that was a huge pickup for the Pacers. You give Tyrese Halliburton, a running mate, an all-NBA player, an all-star, a guy who's won a championship 5 years back. So that was a huge pickup. And one interesting stat I heard, so the best finisher in transition in the NBA is Pascal Siakam. The best player at assisting in transition in the NBA is Tyrese Halliburton.
Okay.
So, like, for a Pacers team that likes to get up and push it, that's a match made in heaven. Plus, you have a guy that can create his own shot too, and so Tyrese doesn't have to do everything.
That's excellent.
I think that's a key thing that
helps with the team,
right? Because
you have an all-star
and
Halliburton,
MVP candidate.
He will be first team
All-NBA bearing injury.
He will be a starter
in the All-Star game.
You got Pascal Siakam, who's a perennial All-NBA player, All-Star. And then you got one of the best defensive players in the league outside of Rudy Gobert, Victor Wembanyama, and Kawhi Leonard and Miles Turner. And Jaren Jackson Jr. as well. But especially from a position of being like either a bigger player, because obviously you have some guards that are really good defense, like Marcus Smart. But you also have Miles Turner as well. So like that's gonna be the core of your team. And then you got a bunch of other players that are just gonna have to get in where they fit in. But I mean, obviously there's talent throughout the roster to help out with it that are all better than those 3 first-round draft picks that might not pan out. Go ahead.
And also the flexibility Siakam provides. Like, he can legitimately defend 1 through 4, and if you go small, 1 through 5, you can switch him out on those guards, and he'll guard him because he's long.
Yeah.
And the Pacers' defense this year is atrocious. So, you have statistically speaking right now the best, most efficient offense in NBA history.
Yeah.
Pacers just need to have a league average defense, but also Siakam is a guy that if you're in the playoffs, that can guard, you can throw him at Giannis.
All I gotta say is that Milwaukee was 1-4 Pacers this season, and that's without Siakam. So that's something to keep in mind as we move forward. And the Pacers in the playoff race. They're 7th seed right now. So I think that's an important thing to think about as we go forward. And trust me, we will be talking about the Milwaukee Bucks situation. It's just not a lead story because that is what we call, in the words I like to say from Jalen Rose, broken news. We knew dude was getting fired, but we'll talk about that. Anything else on Pascal Siakam to the Pacers before we move on to our quick takes?
No, but so my moment of the week, I will be talking about Pascal Siakam, so you guys will hear that later in the show.
Alrighty. Let's get to these quick takes. And these are meant to be quick. 11 o'clock on the East Coast, 9 o'clock on the Mountain Standard Time, and we're going. So the first topic I like to say for quick takes, we're gonna give 1 or 2 points. And we're gonna move on to the next topic. Go Lions, go! How impressed are you with the Lions on their playoff run thus far, Sean?
I mean, I've certainly been impressed. They've been a good team all year. Like they plus give Coach Campbell a lot of credit, taking over a team that was 0-16 and building them back up, and give Jared Goff credit. The Rams pretty much dumped him for Matthew Stafford, and now he's on the cusp to go into a Super Bowl himself. So that should be a very good game with the 49ers, and the 49ers will be favored, and rightfully so. But not going to be a walk in the park. Like Detroit is probably like America's team now because they've not been to a Super Bowl. So I'm sure everyone will be rooting for them.
Yeah, there we go. My take is quick. Lions. So that's all I got to say. Go Lions, go. Next topic. Will we have a Taylor Swift Super Bowl? No contest. Look on the internet if you don't know what I'm talking about. Sean, are we going to have a Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl?
No. Baltimore, and over this past month, definitely second half of the season, has been the best team in football. Like Lamar Jackson has played like the MVP. That defense is ferocious. Like that, they pressured you from any spot, and they're going to. Patrick Mahomes is going to have to run around a lot, especially if his line doesn't give him time. Like it should be a good game, but like that will also be played at Baltimore.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl because I'm scared of the Swift. Swifty's gonna come after me if I go against Sean. Good luck. Next topic.
Hey, I'm in a relationship with a Swiftie, so
Yeah, they gonna get you. Next topic. That's quick. Nneka Ogwumwake. Moving on from the Sparks. They've lost all three of their perennial all-stars and Chelsea Gray, Candace Parker, and Nneka over the last 3 years. What are your thoughts on the future for the Sparks? Sean.
Well, they're gonna be bad for a while, and like you're gonna be bad. Probably have a few number one picks and just build it up because it's hard to replace all stars and in Candace Parker's case, future Hall of Famers.
Exactly. Nneka's going to the Hall of Fame. Chelsea Gray might go too. On my end, I think it's great. Be a free agent. Free agency in the WNBA is great. Also, one point to add to this. This is a key and important thing. Number one in Pitt. Indiana Fever. Future player. Caitlin Clark is killing it. So we're going to move on. Baseball Hall of Fame. There were several Hall of Fame picks, but I want to notably focus on Joe Mauer, Adrian Beltre, both first ballot Hall of Famers. Sean, what are your thoughts?
I wasn't surprised about Mauer. Like Mauer, this guy, probably one of the top catchers out there, but like just a very good athlete. I remember back when he could have played. He was an all-state football player. If he played football, he would have been a quarterback at Florida State. So, and probably would have played in the NFL, but I was a little surprised on Beltre, but it might have been a little slow year. I thought he would get in. I just didn't think it would be first ballot, but I give a lot of credit. He's rightfully deserving of the Hall of Fame along with Mauer.
Yeah. I agree with that. Beltre's bad boy. So is Joe Mauer. Grew up watching both of them play baseball. Helped me keep interested in baseball. The next quick take. How do you hire someone and hire them in the same season? We knew that Adrian Griffin was never going to work out. Sean, what are your thoughts?
Well, when you lose the team, and especially the star player Giannis, like there's no coming back from that. And we've talked about Budenholzer in the past, but he did win the championship. And, as a coach, if you lose the locker room, like good luck. You're not going to last very long.
Exactly. And for me, why was he coach when he never had head coaching? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, especially to me, like Milwaukee is a championship contending team, and you give it to a first-time head coach.
Yeah.
But we looked last year with Boston, and Joe Mazzulla taken over. But in the offseason, Boston did, along with making a lot of good moves, like they hired veteran assistant coaches in the NBA to help him. I help them, and look at Boston. They're the best team in the league right now, and probably going to win the championship this year. So,
Yep, and that is it for our quick takes. The next topic we want to get into, I had this early in the show, but I feel like we need to talk about this for a while. because Sean is very passionate about this next topic that we're about to talk about, and I'm entertained by him talking about it. So it's going to be a lot of Sean talking in this next sequence. We're going to talk about Big Ten football on the basketball court. Sean, introduce us to Big Ten football on the basketball court.
So Big Ten football and basketball court, you'll have some teams like, your Rutgers, your Purdue's, your Michigan States, your Wisconsin's that will be physical, and they'll pretty much foul all the time, and pretty much dare the officials to, hey, you're gonna call it on me, or else not. I'm just gonna keep fouling, and at times it makes Big Ten basketball difficult to watch, because the last time a Big Ten team won the national championship was Michigan State in 2000. It's been 23, 24 years.
And who was the coach of the Hoosiers that season?
Coach Knight was. Mm-hmm. That was his last year.
Exactly. That's why I brought it up. Continue.
But it's just hard to watch. You see a lot by time Big Ten teams get to March Madness, they've just got them beating up each other, and have enough to win 6 games to go to win a championship. Like the Big Ten's had some Final Four teams, but they haven't had a team win a championship. And especially in this day and age, with guard play, with shooting, with, especially in the tournament, it's all about guards. And, a lot, and you can probably see opposing coaches, why would you want to go play for insert this Big Ten school? It's football. Why don't you come here? We're going to score a bunch of points, and I'll still get you to the NBA.
Yeah. And that's just what it comes down to. I think my 2 cents I want to add on the Big Ten football on the basketball court is I would like to rewind back to Friday night. What happened Friday night on why this is a topic on this show, Sean?
I played Wisconsin, and they're one of those teams that they're physical, but they will foul you, and they're a pest. And sometimes it's just hard to watch. Wisconsin won, and rightfully so, because IU isn't playing defense. But sometimes it's just hard to watch. There's being physical, and then there's just fouling people, and just daring officials to call it. Which officials play a part in this. I'm not, the team that's supposed to win usually ends up winning the game. So because you got to make plays to win the game. But there are sometimes it's 8 against 5, and I'm like, what game are you watching?
Mm-hmm.
Teams and coaches adjust based upon how officials call the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I know each year they go and, there's points of emphasis, but, if I'm an official, regardless of sport, to me, you want to set the tone in the first half. That way, so teams at halftime, they could be okay, so the officials are going to call it this way, so we have to make adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
So that way coaches and teams can be okay, we can't do it that way because otherwise they're going to call foul.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the only conference that's really happening. I watch a lot of college basketball, a lot of NBA basketball, and this stuff does not happen a whole lot in all these other conferences. This is why, in my opinion, the Big Ten ain't won a championship before any Gen Z or Gen A person. So the next topic. And this is key. And we're gonna flip it. From Sean talking a lot to me talking a lot. Obviously, y'all are gonna learn that I'm very passionate about women's sports. I'm out here gonna be doing brackets for Women's College World Series. I follow gymnastics. I follow all the women's sports. I'm gonna be excited for the Olympics this season. So the key thing on why I'm bringing all this up about women's sports, and it's always going to be on every show that I'm going to be on. I want to talk about the Pro Volleyball Federation that is launching this year. It is giving women another opportunity to play professional sports, and I think it's going to be really good for people that are graduating college, people that have been playing volleyball, that have multiple options, because you have athletes unlimited, but there's not a whole lot of options for women to play volleyball at the highest level. And I think that this is going to be a key thing. Obviously, you have beach volleyball, indoor volleyball 6-on-6, and beach volleyball is 2-on-2, are two completely different sports. Just like 3-on-3 basketball and 5-on-5 basketball are two completely different sports. So that's just something to keep in mind. As we move forward. I know you don't know a whole lot about this, Sean. What are your thoughts on pro volleyball league launching this year?
I mean, I think that's good. I mean, more opportunities with women in sports, and definitely volleyball. I mean, volleyball is not huge like the main sports here, but still it's another opportunity for women to play professionally. Because like, what was it? You saw like the most attended volleyball game. What was that?
Most sporting event was a volleyball event. Nebraska hosted a volleyball game. A volleyball game had 94,000 people at a college football stadium, and that was the biggest women's event. Their biggest event was not a football event on any sport. It was legendary.
So that, I mean, that's good as far as more opportunities and getting a level playing field. So yeah, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, and
I mean, I'll defer to you more on women's sports, but I know we definitely do talk about it.
Yeah. So we're gonna be wrapping up this show in a little bit. Obviously in the future, y'all chat us, and y'all send us messages. You can always email us at speakingthetruthsports@gmail.com. Give us topics you want to hear us talk about. Definitely quick takes is going to be part of the show where we just talk about a lot of things in a short period of time. But we're gonna get to our moments of the week. Sean will lead off, and I'll finish up.
So earlier in the show, we talked a little bit about Pascal Siakam going to Pacers. So, for my moment of the week, I dug a little bit more, into his background. And so originally, Pascal Siakam came to the game of basketball a little later in life. He's from Cameroon, but he was discovered at a basketball camp by Luc Richard Mbamute, who played college basketball at UCLA, also played in the NBA. And then a year later, and that was when he was 15. A year later, he went to Basketball Without Borders, and Masai Ujiri, who is the general manager and president of basketball operations for Toronto, saw him there and scouted him there. But one thing that they noticed about him was how athletic and how much energy he played with, despite his skill level just coming to the game. And he moved over to the United States when he was 18, played 1 year at postgraduate, and then played at New Mexico State before being drafted by the Toronto Raptors and Masai Ujiri. So that's he's probably, in most recent memory, probably one of the best development stories that I've heard out there of, a guy who comes from humble beginnings and not really playing basketball till he's a teenager.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I knew the story of Pascal Siakam. I knew where he was headed. I found out about this topic. Humble beginnings. Humble beginnings was a player. This is who he is. He's about it on the court. Bad boy on the court. Bad boy.
Spicy P.
Spicy P. He's part of belt to ass production when it comes to on the block, getting that mid range going, and even be able to step to the outside. Spicy P is that dude. I think that was a great moment. We're gonna go to my moment. Get up out of here and shot and go to bed. So women's basketball. TCU. Women's basketball. They had 4 losses on the season. They had to forfeit 2 conference games in order to rest their players. They lost like 4/5 of their starting 5 or something like that. All their leading scorers are like out for the season. And they had to get 4 new players. They had open tryouts. And one player who played volleyball. And you had 3 state championship level players that was just walking around on campus just like everyday Joe. And they took their essentially depleted team and faced off against UCF tonight and won 66-60. In their first game back. It's so incredible. It is so incredible. So incredible. I think that's gonna be like a key thing, that we want to have in college sports. Honestly. At the end of the day, I think that this is what this stuff is about. Is people having an opportunity, and I think that It's just that this is what college basketball. That's really what this comes down to. I think that's really cool on what we do moving forward. Sean, you got anything to add before we wrap up the show?
I mean, and that's true. I mean, any given night, regardless of what's happening, and as you just stated, like, you just got to play regardless of if you got most of your starting lineup out. That's why games aren't played on paper. So that's why you see, like, especially this season, the past few years with the parity in college sports, just a lot of upsets because you still got to play. Mm-hmm. So good for them getting the W against UCF despite having most of their team out due to injury.
Yeah. Exactly. So before we end the show, I want to mention something very important. There are 2 things I want to mention that are very important. In sports, number one, we have the passing of Dejan Milojevic, the assistant coach for the Golden State Warriors, who died last week from a heart attack on Tuesday night here in Salt Lake City, and he didn't make it through the night, and it's sad. And then obviously I want to pour one out for the great Kobe Bryant, who passed away. This week will be 4 years since Kobe Bryant passed away. Sean texted me that Kobe passed away, and I was on a drive with my lady, and I looked at the phone. I'm like, What? Kobe Bryant died? How? And I'm like, are you serious? I could literally go back to the text conversation we had when Kobe Bryant died because Sean texted me. That's the first message I saw, and I saw about 4 or 5 other people texting me saying Kobe Bryant died. And that hit. We're talking about childhood idol. So before we end this show, Sean, do you have any thoughts on the Golden State Warriors assistant coach Dejan Milojevic or Kobe Bryant?
I mean, the Warriors assistant coach, I mean, he was 46 and heart attack. I mean, my heart goes out to his family and the Golden State Warriors, because that's 46. That's way too young for anyone to be dying, especially of a heart attack. And it's hard to believe it's been 4 years since Kobe died. He's one of the top 5 players of all time, and probably the closest player to Michael Jordan that we'll ever see. But Black Mamba, I mean, the amount of work he put in the game, because he was athletic, but he wasn't the most athletic dude, and he just worked at it. And you talk to a lot of players today, they grew up watching Kobe. And that was their favorite player, and they grew up watching Kobe, and that's how they got interested and loved the game, and now they're in the NBA. So Black Mamba, rest in peace. It's been hard to believe it's been 4 years.
Yeah, I echo what you said, and my heart goes out to family of Darko, or Milojevic, especially because that is such a sudden loss, and I think that is something that is very important that we talk about and reflect on throughout the future. And Kobe Bryant, big part of my childhood. And obviously much love to all the people who were impacted by Kobe Bryant, and let his legacy live. Both legacies live on. To end the show, I will end the 24 seconds by saying thank you, and I will log off. But we're gonna sit here for 24 seconds of silence. Which 24 seconds is length of the NBA shot clock. And we're going to just sit in silence, reflecting over those two families. And I will say thank you. We'll end the show. Thank you all today for joining. Speaking the truth in sports, we might be right back here on Sunday, but we will be back in the next several days. So week or so. So stay tuned. Please email us. Speaking of truth in sports at gmail.com. Contact us through YouTube. Comment, like, share. Let's try to get our subscribers up to 15. And now we're going to do our 24 seconds of silence. Thank you.